the off-ramp. He's trapped now by this other SUV, this black SUV, and looks like he's trying to take the shoulder there to get around him and squeezing in between the SUV and the white pickup truck, moving forward, and again, still going at a very good clip. And there's the Houston PD right on the tail. Again, they're, you know, it's interesting, Will. I'm not seeing their lights on, or it doesn't look like they have their lights on while they're chasing this guy.
I've not gotten a chance to see the lights. I know in some cases they have been on in other chases. Sadly, you know, chases do happen here with a certain degree of frequency. But you know, in this case, I've not noticed that myself. So
and a big loop around now, just squeezing behind the two other vehicles that he just did, and now he's heading in the opposite direction from how he just came. And again, Will, it looks like he's on another frontage road, another feeder road here.
Yeah, the feeder roads basically run parallel to that to the Beltway pretty much the entire way around, and the same thing can be said for one of the inner loops here. We have a tremendous amount of those frontage or feeder roads here, so people, you know, even in the course of their average day, are hopping on and off those constantly. It's no surprise that this person who's obviously trying to evade police is doing the same thing.
Yeah, and again, and here he is now, obviously about to make a move now because he's hitting the intersection again. And look at that big left-hand turn in front of those stop traffic. He's flipping around, now going in the opposite direction, pulling into this driveway of a vehicle, of a business here. It looks like a big office tower, and we're going to let the chopper sort of maneuver around. Don't you hate it when this happens? I want to see what happens. Okay, and pulling out the other, there's the police squad car and the minivan. Now you can see the squad has him somewhat boxed in. There's one on the left and one on the right, and he's turning into another driveway right by this office building, which somewhat impedes our shot. And we'll be watching for, there he comes out around the other side again. Now he's just doing a ring around the rosy for this office building. You can see now there are several police nearby. I mean, there are police in this area. It looks like they're trying to figure out a way to box this driver in. Certainly, it's a guy that they want to get off the roads now because they know, A, he's willing to run, B, he's willing to go extremely fast, and C, he's willing to drive on the shoulder and to go through intersections without waiting for the lights. So this is a driver who is definitely putting other drivers at risk. Will, remind me again, what's the protocol here for high-speed chases?
The protocol here is very touchy, but in cases such as these, they want to obviously minimize impact to others, but they're very hesitant here to use pit maneuvers and things of that sort and attempt to stop vehicles.
Yeah, it doesn't look like at this point that we've seen any stop strips or anything like that sometimes other law enforcement officers get ready to use. Okay, now watch this as the chopper gets in scene, and now we're seeing him flip around again, another Huey that we're seeing. He's really trying to avoid the moment you know is coming. This chase is going to end at some point, and this driver's just willing to do what it takes to keep this ongoing. Do you see that there was another police officer there waiting in the turnaround area? Now he's getting back on it looks like this is the opposite direction, and what we see him doing on the sidewalk now, going around this traffic. Very dangerous, and around a tree. And again, now coming off of the sidewalk, going onto one of these side streets again. It looks like, Will, that this is an area where there are a lot of one-way streets because traffic, there's several lanes, and it looks like traffic is heading one direction. Now we're seeing him on, you know, this is a side street here, several lanes, 4 lanes or so of a side street. Can't tell whether that's a shoulder or lane. The lines aren't painted so brightly. But a Dodge Caravan at any rate that was on the freeway, now on side streets, doing loop-to-loops around office buildings, going on a sidewalk, skipping through these intersections. Will, have you learned anything about why they tried to pull him over?
Yeah, the reason why they initially tried to pull him over was he was a suspect wanted for burglarizing a vehicle, and that is really you know, where the whole thing began. and the other thing to keep in mind too is we're coming up on 45 minutes of this, and over that period of time, you know, it's a Dodge Caravan. It's not known for its gas mileage. We don't know how much gas was in the tank, but obviously at this point you start thinking about that sort of thing.
Yeah, we just saw another U-turn here. So basically what he's doing, he's staying on these side streets and sort of just doing loop-de-loops. He's going for a little while, flipping a U-turn, and then going back, driving for a little while, flipping a U-turn. And in some cases, when he hits an intersection, there he goes again. Look at that. And again, almost hit that pickup truck doing so. When he hits an intersection, not afraid to climb up over the sidewalk. Many times, Will, when we're following these high-speed chases, what we notice is erratic behavior on the part of drivers. It starts out where the getaway driver, the fleeing driver, is driving somewhat sanely, but as the chase progresses, we see more and more erratic maneuvers.
Yeah, that is something that you do see a lot of every time. And in fact, just last week, there was a chase up the road in Dallas where someone who was trying to get away from police plowed right into an intersection, got hit by a pickup truck, and it literally bent the car in half. And so, you know, that's one of those things that obviously somebody isn't thinking about.
Watch as he tries to get around these cars. This is the moment when he starts driving, or she starts driving erratically. Tamron Hall joins me now, lived in Texas for a long time. You know, look, you're looking at this guy, and we were just saying, when they continue with this high-speed chase, they make crazy moves.
It's insanity. It's insane behavior. You're running from the police. You will get caught eventually, and it looks like he's going. The officer has his gun drawn. There, he's close to being blocked in. You don't see that every day. An officer on foot running up to an irrational person, as you mentioned, Contessa, with his gun out and drawn there. But how do you rationalize this kind of behavior, putting lives in danger? As the reporter just mentioned, we saw this, Contessa, about this time last week in Dallas. The guy ended up in critical condition after running from police for an hour.
And this makes no sense. All he's doing is driving a little bit, flipping a U-turn, coming around, flipping another U-turn. His thought process at this point is not logical. In fact, let's face it, it's not rational to run from police.
You're running from police. You're running from the police.
Look at that. They tried the spike strip right there. It didn't work.
And this again is KPRC. We're following this breaking news. Another high-speed chase out of Texas. It was around this time last week we saw one end with the driver who was trying to run away from authorities in critical condition. And now, as Contessa has been following, this guy has been making U-turns around the median. It's almost, if it weren't so dangerous, Keystone Cop-ish, as he is going around and around this median. But again, these are lives, innocent people who are on the roads. These are officers who are putting their lives in danger. One on foot just a short time ago trying to run up to the side of this white Dodge Caravan to apprehend this individual. Contessa, you were talking with a reporter.
Look at the intersection right here. I mean, he's going through these intersections without even really looking. We've seen several close calls, one at the toll booth, once when he was trying to squeeze through two vehicles that were somewhat blocking his path.
The reporter who was on the scene